Hello? Hello?
Matt, are you there?
Yep.
Hey, I got Darren on the line with us here.
Okay. Hey, Darren, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? I was sitting in your room.
So Mac is saying that it was waiting for the host, which I'm assuming is you.
Said I was in your room waiting for the host. Hold on, I gotta get back in there.
I'm sorry, Darren. That might have been my fault. I don't know.
No, no worries. You know, I ain't worried about it. Hold on. Hold on, I gotta hear what I'm doing. Oh, Nick, I'm getting those masks from Stalls tomorrow.
Are they coming to drop them off?
I'm going to Grosse Pointe.
Nice. All right. I'll have to get them for me before next week's shows.
Give me a sec there, man. Yeah.
You still logging in, Matt?
Yeah, I'm on my video now, so.
Okay.
Hold on one sec. I'm putting in the password. Oh, there we go. Join with video. Hold on.
All right, I got you.
All right, you guys are good?
Yep, I got you, Darren.
Matt Cameron's personal meeting.
Yep, that's me.
I know.
Oh, okay.
It's not doing anything. Like it,
Oh.
I don't see. Well, now it's doing something.
There it is. All right.
All right, you guys are good?
Yeah, I think we're good.
All right, I'm good.
All right.
All right. Thank you, Nick.
Quit bothering us, Nick. We're trying to podcast.
Sorry, guys. My bad.
All right. Thanks, Nick. Bye.
All right, no problem. Bye.
How you doing, bro?
Good. How are you, Darren?
Yeah, glad we can figure it out.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So I see you got your own stuff right there. Grind Time with Darren McCarty. What's that? What's kind of stuff what does that do? What do you guys do around there?
What, Grind Time?
Yeah.
Grind Time McCarty is anything I fucking want it to be. That's mine. So Grind Time is the people. It's a podcast. It's a streamcast. It's where I interview people. It's where I talk to people that I don't know that I want to know. It's about me, but this is whatever this guy right here he wants. Now, it depends. Like, and what do I mean by that? It means like when I come and talk to you, I'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. But you know, say if it's you want to hear me talk sports, go listen to 97.1, or you like listen. You know, so Grind Time, you're gonna find different things. You know, like I'm a huge Letterkenny fan, and they're buddies of mine. So I don't know if you follow that series on Hulu, but it's a Canadian series, and so I, you know, Dylan played for a couple of guys, actors, you know, whatever else, everything that I'm into to show. It's about people, bro. I'm all about people at this point in life.
Yeah, I respect that because I thank you for coming on my show. It's an honor to be talking to you, man. I mean, me growing up, I was 10 years old watching you play. So when you started, I was like, holy shit, this dude can bang. And this,
where are you from?
I'm from Massachusetts. So, well, I'm a Boston fan, but like that was later on for me because again, in the 90s, there was you guys who were just fucking shit up all the time.
Right.
You guys had, I mean, when I hear like now, it's like I hear about, you know, your grind line and like there's not really much like that anymore.
Well, the game's changed, right? And let's get it straight. Deep down, we're all Boston fans because you're just winners. Terry O'Reilly was old school Bruin that I loved. Terry O'Reilly and Rick Tocchet were guys that I wanted to emulate. And, you know, when you're talking about the grind line in Detroit, you know, think about it. When you think, like even said, being in Massachusetts, or to understand, we don't understand the gravity, but we understand the gravity that when there's a production line, there's a Russian 5, you know, there's certain things, but there's a grind line. And I think it's because we played physical, played defensive, but we also came up and scored some big goals at some big times. And you guys appreciate that in Boston. You look at your teams, you're going through, you know, the champions built a lot of the same way, starting with the biggest, strongest human being I've ever met or seen in Zdeno Chara on defense.
Yeah.
I got to tell you here, I collected the captain's sticks, right? So I had this foundation for my dad for multiple myeloma. So all the captains in the league, and I forget what year it was, probably 2002 or something. And I got every stick, right? So it's to be a big auction item. So I'm a stick whore, right? So I got to check everybody's stick out. I went to flex Chara's stick, bro. It is so stiff. I almost blew the tendon out of my. It was like steel. Like he's the strongest. Like when anybody ever says who's the toughest guy, it's like Andre the Giant back in wrestling. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, other than Andre, because you know he wasn't the champ because he played nice to the Hulkster all those years. But I digress.
For me, like back in the day when you guys played the Flyers in the Stanley Cup, right? And you scored that friggin' goal, like nobody knows who was it, Yanni
Niinema.
Yeah.
Yanni Niinema.
Like you crossed him up and then you score on Ron Hextall, one of the best goalies in the game, you know? Like it was amazing.
It's like I tell everybody. It's afraid to wish for it, but when it's there, you got to strike. And I beat one guy one-on-one my whole career. I knew Steve Eisner was behind me. Darren McCarty was going to dump it in because he's a grind liner, remember? But
Yep.
God decided that I was going to be Mario Lemieux, and the rest is history. So that you know, obviously the first of the four because of scoring the goal.
I mean, it's just like all the years you progressed, like it's like the Detroit team just got better and better and better. Like you got 4 Stanley Cups, and I mean the later one in 2008, but like you progressed to where like Nicholas Lindstrom was still with you, and like all these great players, like you just went alongside them, and you know, it's just amazing how your career went. I can't like express like how crazy it is that you just would defend your team, like kind of like what Chris Nyland did for Montreal.
Well, I mean, that's you want to be. I don't fight for my. Like you'll get away with more shit doing it to me, and I'll decide. I mean, when I decide to get up, you're already done then. But if you attack anybody I love or a teammate or anything like that, I fight for a cause. To answer your question, it'll make sense. Look, our practices were harder than games. Look at the Hall of Famers. Look at the talent. So it forced, you look and you see 5 Hall of Famers on the bike and you're wondering why you're not in there first. After practice, working with like Brendan Shanahan, learning all these things firsthand, it's because you practiced against them and they made you better, not only as players, but as people. And so for some of us, like myself, that have had ups and downs, but has continued to never quit and to survive. Now, all those lessons aren't too late to learn to be able to apply them now, right? I always used to be the guy that you could tell me, but I had to experience myself just to go, okay, yeah, I wish I would have listened. Well, I try to spread that knowledge to people who want to listen and go, okay, well, I'm not going to get the amputation. I might get a Band-Aid. Move it along, right?
Yeah.
Sorry.
And
why? What's up? Go ahead.
For you, I mean, when that whole thing, the fight at the Joe, I'm sure you hear about it a lot, but I mean, before, I mean, I know you must have been really close with Chris Draper, of course. And
Absolutely.
like that, to me, that like in my era now, like when I could really concentrate on hockey, like when Marian Hossa got decked from behind, I felt like that was the same exact like sequence. I'm like, and it was crazy. So it's like for you, like that night when there was the fight at the Joe, like when you decked Claude Lemieux and like just gave him that fucking whack, like I wasn't a fan of Colorado besides, you know, like Joe Sakic or Peter Forsberg, but
Right.
like with Claude Lemieux, like was he just like an agitator and just got you so pissed off that night, like you just wanted to go at it with him because of what happened to Draper the year before?
Well, absolutely, and we were closer. We were closer than that. Obviously, line mates, but you know, best friends too. But it goes back to, you know, Lemieux playing like that. Dude, I gotta pause this for a sec.
Sure.
Can I come right back?
Yeah.
Look at the dog. Hold on. You just said you're high. Anyway, she's fine. She's right here. I got her. Well, she's bleeding down her eye. Cheryl, I'm looking at her right now. She's fine. She's muddy. That's all. You sent me a picture. She's bleeding down her face. No, she got scratched. She's not bleeding on her face. She got a scratch, not on her eye, but like looks like she got scratched. Well, she needs some peroxide on her eye. Not in her eye, but on her cut. Right. And she needs antibiotic ointment on it. Okay. She's just taking her fucking with me. All right. Oh, World War III. This one here. This is Dolce. She's a princess. Story behind little dogs, right? It's Gordie Howe. Gordie Howe used to have a mini Yorkie named Rocket, so he made it. Tough guys can have little dogs, but she got into a scrap. We got 2 Yorkies, 2 French bulldogs, cats, and she's the princess of them all. So her mother is not here, so her mother was freaking out, and just like anything else, guys, precedents. So these are the kids.
That's
so getting back to, you got to understand about, you know, the Lemieux thing. You go back to the year before when he hit Chris Draper from behind in Game 6 of the Western Conference Finals, broke his orbital bone, broke his jaw in 4 spots. In life and in sports, bad things happen, okay? But you cannot lose respect for a fellow human being, okay? Claude Lemieux had no respect for anybody, but let alone Chris Draper. And the fact that he said he wasn't sorry, the fact that you never would have heard of Chris Draper, and the fact he probably just made him millions of dollars, that doesn't sit well with me, bro, because that's just like anybody else. So the fact, and to add on, we'd lost to Jersey in 95, set the league record, 62 wins in 96, and then got beat out in the conference finals. then, this happens to Drapes. It's tough. We had to beat them because we played them 3 times during the year and hadn't beaten them. So everybody's got a rivalry they got to get through. So just the fact that the way that it happened, Igor Larionov and Peter Forsberg, and I knew Lemieux was on the ice, but we had to win the game, so I couldn't do anything stupid. If something would have happened near the end of the game, I would have done something stupid because my people in Michigan would have sent me commissary to Jackson State Prison if need be. I knew that. I was taken care of. He's going to get it. But so the way it played out, Forsberg, like you said, and Larionov, who the only bigger pacifist in life is Gandhi than Igor Larionov, starts fighting, and then I know Lemieux's on the ice, foot grabs me, Shanny breaks me loose, and I pop up and see this face that I'd seen a million times in my dreams, in my nightmares. What would I do if I had the opportunity? And I unloaded. Every man, women, and children, wing wheel nation everywhere was in that fist. Dropped him, was trying to put my hand through his skull, and instead, just like the things work out, I look over and there's Drapes. So I rammed his head as hard as I could into the boards. Got 4 minutes for roughing. 4 minutes for roughing, which today I would have got probably half a season. And the moral and the God shot of the whole thing is that we were down 5-3 in the third. We tied it up, and I scored the overtime winner. Because at that point in Wing Wheel Nation, not in the building, not in the city, the state, the country, the world, Red Wing Nation, that was our time, proverbial. It's going to be all right. I don't know what that means, but it's going to be all right. You understand that as a Bruins fan because you've experienced it recently, more recently. You have the same trajectory as us because you've experienced the defeat also, right? When, that was just like out of all the hockey last year, Stanley Cup Finals, St. Louis and Boston was as old school, beat each other up. I mean, broken bones. I mean, that was everything. And at the end of the day, nobody lost. It just so happened that St. Louis was better. And I always tell everybody, listen, I'm not afraid to get beat. It's just that I'm never going to lose. I never want to lose. That means it's my fault.
Right. Yeah. And that's the thing is like me as a Bruins fan looking at that Stanley Cup, like you said, like, holy crap, we're beating them 6-3 this game and like just high scoring games between both teams. And then game 7, and it's like, if you're a Bruins fan, they're like, oh shit, we're coming home and we're going to win this series. And then all of a sudden the Blues just turn it on.
09, I came back in 08. We won against Pittsburgh. We had them down 3-2 in 09. I was hurt in that series, but we ended up losing. So, and then I retired. So, it doesn't, there's so many more positives than negatives. And, that's one of those things is somebody in the Bruins fan base sold their soul for the last cup for the next one.
Yeah. Was it different for you, like when you left, like when you played for Calgary for a while, like was that like kind of like, was it hard to transfer from like the Red Wings? I
think that's probably one of the only teams that I could have transitioned it. It was with Daryl Sutter as a coach, Jerome McGinley. It was like going back to junior. It actually revitalized my love of the game, especially that first year. And unfortunately I got hurt and then, ended up back in rehab, but ended up being able to come back to Detroit. But that year that we lost in the first round in Calgary to Anaheim that went on to win the Stanley Cup, we were up 3-2 again. Going into their barn having. So I've been, man, like you said, I've been on both sides of it. And then, I didn't even mention all the years that Colorado and us battled stuff like that would happen. So, it's one of those things that, I'm just grateful to be a cog in the wheel.
Yeah, and you sure were a defining person in that. It's a team, and like you were the person on the team who defended people, and like you had, like you said, 4 or 5 Hall of Famers, and like to be on a team like that, it was amazing. And me, when being a kid, looking up to you guys, like me myself, I was like the same thing. Like fuck Avalanche. Like I never was a fan. And besides
you made a great point. You made a great point. Fuck the Avalanche, but not Joe Sakic, because Joe Sakic's like Steve Yzerman. They're just in a different category. Yeah. And you see that because he's just as like, that's why the Colorado organization, you know, that's what I'd always say is that when you want to bash Colorado, we bash everybody but Joe Sakic.
Yeah.
I'd watch when I was on the bets and not checking them, and be like, watch them. And Yzerman was always enamored. You know, their game, Sakic and Yzerman's game reflected each other so much, but we have the utmost respect, you know, for most of those guys, right? You know, I mean, they made us better. We made them better, you know,
right?
And just they're mad at the end of the day. We got 3, they got 2, but scoreboard.
Yeah, 0 scoreboard, right? So, like, my final thing to you is, so life after hockey, how has it been to transfer into retirement and stuff? I mean, I saw you on, what was it, Hardcore Pawn and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now, like, I was like, is Darren McCarty like friends with these guys? Like, is it?
Yeah, no, the story for Hardcore Pawn. So transition wasn't good for me because I was in the throes of alcoholism and I didn't give a shit. And then it was like, I was self-destructive. But along the way, the thing is, if I'm interested in something, I'll go and do it. I don't give a fuck, right? I mean, I do comedy. I got a band. I freaking, you know, into the weed, doing, you know, I mean, I'm gay, right? You know, like, and it's just the way sort of that I've always been. So the Hardcore Pawn was because Les and Seth, the Golds, were friends. They were neighbors in the same neighborhood.
Okay.
So I knew them, and you know, Ashley always got betrayed as a bitch, but she was the nicest, the sweetest, and but I always wanted to get in. Like I talked to the old man, and you know, be like, yeah, I would like to learn the business. He said, well, we'll hire you. You want to come in and learn it? And the best thing is that it helped me. I worked there for about 6 months before I went down to Florida to get sober, and write my book. And but it was awesome because I'll still go in there to this day and help them. I know the systems and everything else if they're swamped. Not so much in the COVID times, but anything else.
Yeah.
Hey, get over here. Get over here. Yeah, but I love that, and I mean, and it helps you in your negotiating skills, and when you know what you're thinking, and to learn some of the jewelry business, and you know, behind the scenes. I mean, I love those guys because they're real, and they care. You know,
that's
and the
awesome.
old man's as tough as he looks. He doesn't give a shit. So that was fun, and then, you know, like I said, I wrote my book. I went to Florida. I've lived parts of the past 6 years in back and forth to Florida, Clearwater, and that's my sanctity. And I was able to get sober 2015 on 11/11. So I got that tattoo right here, and you know, just grateful. You know, I'm a huge advocate for cannabis. It's recreational here in Michigan, but I'm involved in the $200 million Pink Cannabis opportunity to provide the medicine that helped me through everything else. So, you know, it's one of those things. I said, get educated, you know, get medicated. I'm not going to get mad that they were shoving pills down my throat with the lack of education 15, 20 years ago.
Right, yeah.
You don't get upset about reading through the education of what we know now compared and to this plant. And the whole thing is, I don't give a shit if you do or you don't. It's about you having an option. And there's so many options that you don't never have to smoke it to get the benefits. And it's just 2020, and that's really is just, I'm still fighting, just fighting in a different way. I look at it like I took the Red Wing off and put the cannabis plant on there. So Google me, bro. You know what you're going to get.
I will. And I'll definitely, if you got merch with Grind Time, I'll definitely rock that shit.
Absolutely. Nick's the man when it comes to everything else. See, Nick, that's the whole thing is you realize too with your friends and military guys and athletes are a lot alike because of the structure and stuff like that. So, you know, having him like, you know, being instill a mil spec and teach me a bunch of different things. It's been great. So we got a good thing with Grind Time, and happy to hook up with you, Matty. We need, you know, it's just hooking up and facilitating options to what's going on. I'd love to get you on Grind Time, and
that'd
you
be fucking awesome, man. I
know,
would really appreciate
wait till
it.
hockey comes back up. Football, I mean, shit, bro. I mean, what? Let me ask you a question.
All right, yeah,
So,
go
so
for
I
it.
assume are you diehard Boston fan? Like sports cross, like football,
Yeah,
Patriots?
yeah.
What are your thoughts of Stitham?
You got to give the kid a chance. Tom
Okay,
Brady,
good.
you got to you gave him a chance. Stidham, give him a chance. Or whatever backup he has, the drafts with a couple of football quarterbacks they have, give them a shot too. Bill Belichick is an intelligent coach, so he'll know. He'll know for sure. Probably like you for like Scotty Bowman. How is he for you?
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing because the greats. You know, I heard this from Jimmy Johnson and Phil Jackson. Jimmy Johnson said, I treat everybody the same, different. Scotty Bowman, greatest coach, let alone greater psychologist. You don't treat everybody the same. That's what he taught us. You treat everybody different, but the psychology of it, and you know how to push each other's buttons. Like me, you just had to keep the leash on, but I was running 100 on and off, whatever. But I came in, he brought me in. We have a phenomenal relationship. My Hall of Fame moments after he retired, and we were sitting outside the Mr. and Mrs. Illich's, our owners, at the Stanley Cup party, and he says, you know, one of the things I regret is I didn't tell my players how much I appreciate them. I was like, oh, thanks, Scott. He goes, no, shut up. And I'm like, oh. And he says, no, he tells me I'm his second favorite right winger ever to play for him, next to Guy Lafleur. I hope I'm not mad. And then boom, he's gone. I said, okay, somebody heard it. So I'm going to guess. So I got that going for me. And I think when Patrick Waugh has nightmares, I might be in them.
Yeah.
And that's cool too.
That's okay.
That's good.
Oh man. Well, again, Darren, thanks so much for being on my show. And anytime I will definitely go on your show for sure. Like the last thing I'll say is like every fucking person in Detroit pretty much has your jersey too. It's not just Fedorov and Eisman. You're that person too. Well, so from what I hear.
Well, yeah, no, but you know what? This is it. Is because when you're around superheroes and all these guys that, and I'm not saying they're not attainable, but they live on a different level. The Eismans, the Lidstroms, you know, grind line guys, you know, me especially, because what I realize and has helped me, especially in sobriety, is that I'm a battery and the people are my power, but I'm them. I just had the responsibility of representing them, and they get it, and that's why I travel around the state and visit everybody and do comedy and do all these shows, get together, whatever. It does matter, and you know, I was told that my dad said that if you don't want to do something, stop it, which was a lot easier said than done. But if you want things changed, then you know, tell me once and show me twice, and that's what I did.
For sure, and it shows. And you know, I want to say like thanks again for being on my show, and keep up your sobriety and enjoy this stuff, and hopefully this corona will go away soon. And again, we'll talk hockey, and we'll say, absolutely, you know, I hope like Detroit goes to you guys and you beat them in the, what is it now, the Little Caesars Arena now?
Yeah, Little Caesars Arena. It's not an ice hockey rink. It is the greatest entertainment facility in sports. That's what it is. It's no Joe Louis Arena.
Do they throw octopuses anymore?
Dude, I think somebody probably get like deported, or you know, like something really bad would happen. You should have seen, biggest one I ever seen. 4 guys threw it with a beach ball in its head. It was ginormous. The best is when people throw it from a high level and they miss and it hit the glass and the people on the front of it
Get all splattered.
you all over it. Because trust me, I used to try to bury somebody's face in where the octopus would land because of the smell.
Oh, that's an unknown thing. That's awesome.
We're all wrestlers at heart, bro.
Yes.
We'll have a bath. All right, I gotta go bath this dog.
All right. Well, take care of your dog, and yeah, stay safe and healthy, my friend. Thank you again.
Good chat with you, Matt.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, bud.
All right. See you, man.
Yeah. Lab Ted.